Hello and welcome to another live lesson here at AM Language on the AM Language YouTube channel with me, Richie. It's 3 o'clock and we're back to normal in terms of 40 to 45-minute lessons throughout the week, except except for this week, we won't be doing Thursday. That's the only day where there won't be a live lesson. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, there will be a live lesson at 3 o'clock. Irina F. Hello, Privyet, and welcome to today's lesson. And happy Easter as well. I hope you had a good Easter. So, guys, last week I had on Thursday, unfortunately, I was giving a lesson and it didn't go well for my computer. I shouldn't have any problems today, but my laptop is definitely what we would be saying really here is my laptop is getting on a bit. And this term, getting on a bit, I'm going to throw this out there straight away in terms of saying, what do you think this means? Does it mean it's very new? B, it's old? Or C, it's old and probably needs replacing? So what do you think? Getting on a bit, or to get on a bit, really? Let me know. A, B, C. Which one is the correct definition of, oh, it's getting on a bit? We can play around with this. This is specifically in the context of technology. We can use it as well in other ways to do with like people as well, if it's in sport. So what can you expect on the AM Language YouTube live lessons this week? Well, first of all, Irina F says C, and you are correct. You are correct. Well done. Thank you very much. Correct. That is exactly what it means. So what can you expect? Well, today we're looking at working life, a balanced approach. Tuesday, your career in English. This is an opportunity to look at some CV work, really. Wednesday, beauty, the ancient world. This gives us a great opportunity to talk about the past, but in the context of trying to explain what we thought was nice or beautiful. And Thursday, there won't be a lesson. And Friday, food ideas for the weekend. So that's what you have. That's what we can look forward to this week. So when we talk about a working life and a lifestyle balance, I'm going to throw this out there as a question, which is since COVID, have you had a balanced lifestyle between work and pleasure? Now, I don't expect this to be 100% yes, because there's many things that we have not been able to do because of COVID. But what we can ask ourselves is, okay, a lot of us are now working from home. Has this made it easier to have a balanced life, or has this made it harder? Do you find you work shorter hours, or do you find you are working longer hours? Some good questions to ask and to think about here. Do you think after COVID, you can see yourself going back to work in an office, or do you see yourself staying at home, working from home, working remotely, as we would say? For me, actually, I'll leave this up as some options. So what do you, let's go with this. So what do you see yourself doing after COVID? Okay. Do you see A, working in an office? B, working outdoors? C, working, I'm going to put here working remotely. Now, remotely simply means not not at the office, but somewhere else. And somewhere else could be home, for example. So what do you see? Or maybe D, a combination of the above. Let me know what you think, what you are going to end up doing after COVID. Just need to clean my glasses here while we wait for some answers to come in. For me, I would say, I think that in an ideal situation, you would always have the option of like maybe a combination. I think I could see myself working remotely for quite some time, but eventually going back to work in an office, I think. Irina F says that after COVID, she sees herself returning to the office. Do you miss the office, Irina F? Do you miss the office atmosphere? Do you miss the office? Well, I'm going to go with vibe. What do you think vibe means, by the way, guys? Does it mean, does vibe mean people? B, um, place of work? Or C, feel of a place? Okay. Yuli, welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. You've said D, working outdoors. Let me know what type of job you would like to do that involves outdoors. I remember in my, gosh, going back over a decade ago now, I once wanted to become a ski instructor. I love skiing. I haven't done any proper skiing for a long time now. But I would say that is something that I really miss. And working outdoors can be really good fun. I mean, I would say if you have the chance to work outdoors and you're doing some good activities, that could always be good fun. So let me know there what sort of outdoor activities you might be doing. Welcome to the lesson today, Celine, and welcome to the channel. I think this might be your first time in terms of the live chat. So welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. I hope you are doing well. Celine has said D, a combination of the above. Yeah, I think that could also be quite popular. I know some people who are now, some companies that are thinking of renting a hotel space for the day. So people only meet 2 or 3 times a week, and then the other days they work from home. Irina F says that she misses everything, really. I don't blame you, Irina F. I think there's a lot that we have missed. So when it comes to like work lifestyle, here's the first thing for you. And it's actually to do with breaks. Okay. Do you take regular breaks? Do you take regular breaks? Now, regular, by the way, in case you're not too sure with the term, regular obviously is another word for often. Okay, so do you often take breaks? For me, I would say when I'm at work, I might take more breaks, but when I'm at home, I take less breaks. And I think that has something to do with not being around people. I think when you are around people, you have more. The word is incentive to take a break. Now, I'm going to introduce this word, okay? One that I just slipped in over here, and we can have a little look at what this word means. It's a really good word to know as well. So let's go with this. The meaning of incentive. So A. Let's go with So what do you think? What is the incentive to take a break? For me, the incentive is knowing that I can go to the kitchen, make a cup of tea, cup of coffee, maybe have a snack, and talk to some people. I think the social element of taking a break is really important as well. And therefore, we have to think of the incentive. This word incentive over here, what do you think is the correct definition of this word incentive? A, B, or C? And then we're going to try and construct some questions with some of the new language that we're looking at in today's lesson. I must remember to sit with a straight back. I think that's one of the problems sometimes, like sitting at a desk, you end up sort of what we call hunch over, and your shoulders coming in instead of sitting with a straight back. I think this is something that I definitely need to work on at the moment with my well, it's called posture. Really, I've got terrible posture. So something that forces you to do something, something that stops you from doing something, and something that encourages you to do something. So incentive, that's the word. You can always use it in questions like, what's the incentive, for example? I don't have an incentive. So those are a couple of more examples of how you can use the word incentive, and that should give you an idea what the meaning is. So Yuli says B, something that stops you from doing something, and Celine says yes. In my opinion, it's the position A. The answer actually is A. The answer here is A. Incentive is something that encourages you to do something. It gives you a reason to do something. So you could ask you're looking at, has your boss, for example, given you a good incentive? What's the, for instance, like you could ask, what are the incentives to work overtime, for example? Now, overtime is, let's say you are contracted to work 8 hours a day, but people want you to work 10 hours a day. So what's the incentive for you to work an extra 2 hours a day? So incentive is a really good word to know when it comes to these sort of things. But incentives can also be used when it comes to the other elements in terms of lifestyle. So, for instance, a general question: do you do exercise every day? If so, what are the incentives to do exercise regularly? So there we go. We've got the word regular. Before we had the word regular, now we have it in the adverb form, regularly. So do you do exercise every day? If so, what are the incentives to do exercise? Now, it can be any type of exercise. It doesn't need to be gym work or running. It can even be a walk, getting outside, going for a walk. What do you have do you get the incentive to do some exercise every day? I think at work, well, during COVID, I would say it is easy to become lazy and not to do exercise. But for me, I have found that there is a strong incentive to get up, go out, do something in the fresh air if possible. Because you're indoors all day, it's very different when you wake up and you don't go to work, but you get up and you are at work. In fact, I mean, when you work at home, you you don't have a change of environment, and that's a problem. So it's important to have the incentive to when to get up in the morning and think to yourself, right, I've woken up, I'm doing what I'm working from home, but I need to get outside at some point. I need to go outside. I need to breathe in the fresh air and so on and so forth. Really important. So that's the question there. Do you do exercise every day? If so, what are the incentives? What are the if so, what are the incentives to do exercise regularly? Now, I would say sometimes people end up sort of following a routine. So that's the other thing. Do you have a healthy routine? That's the other question. Routine, daily routine, things that you repeat, you start, and all the rest of it. So one of the things I could add in here would be the phrasal verb put off. Okay, now put off is the opposite from encourage. It's uh, discourage. Okay, makes something less attractive. So, what I could also ask you is what things put you off from exercising? For example, what things put you off from from let's say from what things put you off from the idea of working from home? So these are some good, this is a good phrasal verb, put off, to put off. Um, you can even be, you can even say like certain things put you off, for example. Like I could say at the moment, after using, I'm just going to use Apple as an example, even though Apple are obviously good. I'm just using it as an example. After using uh, an Apple laptop, it's put me off from buying another one, for example. So that's another example of how you can use put off. Okay, so you've got incentive, uh, and then you've got the opposite, discourage and put off. Okay, I'll give you guys an opportunity to answer one of the questions or some of the questions in the live chat box over there. In terms of work-life balance as well, you've got obviously, so we've spoken about a few things: working from home, working at the office. I would say, by the way, general thing, what do you think is better? Home office or working from home? Which one do you think is the correct one we should use? Home office or working from home? Which one should we use when we are saying that we're working, but we are not going to the office, we are going to stay at home? Which one is the correct one? Home office or working from home? So a few questions to think about there. think after this, I definitely need to do some stretching. My back is really annoying me at the moment. Plus, the weather in Malta today is terrible. It's cloudy. It's what we would call gloomy. Gloomy is just bad weather. It's dull. Effectively it's boring. It's boring weather. It's terrible weather. You don't. It doesn't give you an incentive to go outside. For example, you're looking at it and you're thinking, "Gosh, this is terrible weather. Why would I want to go outside? That I have no incentive to go outside." So let's see what you guys come into. Let's see what you guys say in the live chat. You've got a few questions you can answer here. Sorry. So what are the incentives? What are the incentives to work overtime? Maybe it's more money. Do you do exercise every day? If so, what are the incentives to do exercise regularly? Irina F says, I work in an office because my boss doesn't allow me to work remotely. Nicely chosen word there. I do sports almost every day because it is good for my health. Thank you very much, Irina F, for your contribution, and very nicely worded. Two sentences, very nicely worded there. So interesting. So you work from the office because your boss doesn't allow you to work remotely. Is it a big office, Irina F? Do you find that there's lots of, I mean, we are during COVID, so it's interesting. I suppose it depends what sort of office it is. Is it a big office? Do you have lots of people? Is there a big risk, potentially, health risk? I do know, though, that things might slowly change now because the vaccine's coming in. A few countries have done quite well. I think it's fair to say Malta, by the way, has done really, really well. I think something like 200,000 people in Malta have now had the first dose, the first jab of COVID vaccine. That's nearly half. I mean, the entire population is 450,000. So for 200,000 people to already have had the first vaccine is really good. And I would say if they can do another 100,000, then I think it's fair to say Malta can actually open up and return to what you call some kind of normality. Not completely, but I think Malta could have a bit of a summer. And I think this could be a big advantage point. If you can have a vaccine and you can come to Malta, then you could have a really good time in Malta. You can learn English. The weather will be good. We know the weather will be good in Malta over the summer period. And you can have a bit of a holiday. You can learn English and you can enjoy the feeling of potentially being outside. I do know that they want to have a summer in Malta. They really want to. Celine said, every morning I practice yoga. Very nice. And it has put me off from exercise if I am sick. Concerning my job currently, I work at home, but I think the best is both. Okay, thank you very much, Celine. Nicely, thank you for answering. What I would say there is, when you go with this, okay, it's called a present participle. You've used a gerund at the start of your sentence. So concerning, for example, my job, comma, I currently work at so on and so forth. So you were really close, Celine. I really like the fact you went with what we call a present participle. But when you go with that at the start of your sentence, after you've said that your little bit, comma, subject, and you continue normally. So you nearly got it 100% right, but well done. Arena F says, it is a small office. My boss has no control over remote employees and it pisses him off. Oh, well, there you go. We've got a phrase in English, each to their own. What do you think this means? I'm going to give you some example sentences of how we can use it afterwards. So you can say, Well, I guess you can say each to their own. What do you think this means? A. Do as the locals do. B. We got three options here, each to their own. Do as the locals do. B, when someone does something their way or to their preference. And C, when someone does something according to someone else's preference. I mean, it's a good bit of language here. And you can use it like this. Well, I guess you can say each to their own. It's a good bit of phrase, actually, this. It certainly comes into, certainly relevant when we look at people doing their job a certain way. You can often find people end up, they develop their method of doing something and then they become sort of very loyal to that method. They don't like changing it. Arena F says B, and B is the correct answer. So a nice little bit of language over there. Well done, Celine, and well done, Yuli. Yeah, B is the correct answer. Nicely done. Each to their own, as we would say. I mean, I would say when it comes to that sort of thing, it can be a little bit difficult during COVID because obviously you've got lots of concerns. But if you have had at least one, I know for most of these, you need 2 jabs. But if you've had 1 jab, that's enough really to make sure that you're going to be covered. You can be pretty well protected with just 1. So I mean, it probably makes it you don't have to feel quite so uncomfortable if you have had a jab. So thank you very much over there. Let's look at the next thing. What are your thoughts on eating lunch at your desk? Now, this is a nice bit of way of what are your thoughts? You've got lots of different ways to ask questions. It's the same as saying, what do you think about eating lunch at your desk? What are your thoughts on eating lunch at your desk? There's always I would encourage you to play around with the different ways that you can ask questions. For me, I'll give you my personal thoughts actually, because it's part of a lifestyle and it's part of a work-life balance as well. To eat lunch at your desk, for me, I would say it's now I've used the word approve over here, and I'll let you guys think about what approve means. Okay. I'm just focusing on the word approve. Obviously, don't makes it the negative form, but do you think it means you like something, you agree with something, or you agree to something, or to object to something. I know in C I put O2 instead of 2O. So what do you think? I mean, for me, it's a problem. I personally don't approve of it. And I don't approve to it because I think approve of, by the way, of is also the preposition of approve. Now, I don't approve of it because I think it's unhealthy. You don't stop working. You eat and work. Thank you very much, Celine. I'll let you know what the correct answer is in about 30 seconds. Yeah, because you don't end up B. Yes, correct. Well done, guys. And this is it for me. I don't agree with it. Let me know what you think. I don't approve of it because you don't actually take a break. You remain at your desk, you're eating and working at the same time, and you're probably, you've got food on your fingers, you end up getting food on the keyboard. I just think it's really unhygienic. And if then someone wants to talk to you, someone can then start interrupting you while you're having your lunch as well. Celine says, I don't approve of that. In my opinion, it's better to do a real break and go out to change the mind. Nice answer there, Celine. And I agree. I think it's really important. How can we improve this? I don't approve of that, full stop. In my opinion, it's better to, instead of to do, it's better to have a real break. You have a break. Don't forget that you have a break and go out to change the mind. If you want to sort of play on this change the mind, one of the things we can say is go out and you've got a few things. You can say recharge the batteries. Go out and switch off, meaning stop thinking about work, for example. Or go out and yeah, you've got a few others that you could go with, but I would encourage you to go with one of those options. Irina Ev says, I don't like eating at the work table, but I live near the office and go home to eat. Well, that's good. If you can go home to eat, that's really, really convenient. Nicely done. That's what I would say. If you can walk home for lunch, really good. That's probably quite healthy, actually, as well. So let's just rethink. Okay, we've got some words we've looked at today. Switch off. We've got recharge. We've got incentive. Put off. See what else. Have a break. I'm going to include that. Prove. The phrase each to their own. Oh, yeah. Get on a bit. Okay, so we've had a look at some new language today. You're welcome, Celine. Let's see if you guys, by the way, you can continue answering the questions, but I'm now going to write some sentences, and you need to choose one of the options in order to complete the sentences. So, 1. Mm-hmm. 3. Okay, right. Let's see. Still putting in some things over here. Let's go with 4. And finally, let's see how you guys do. So, Celine has said incentive for 1. What are the best incentives? You'd have to add the S on potentially, because you've got are. So if you're going to go with anything, it needs to be in its plural form. But I can take the word incentive. What are the best incentives? That's what Celine's gone for number 1. Number 2, think of the words you're going to use, but you're going to have to change them. You're going to have to add an ing to this. They're going to be in a gerund form. So if you know what the verb is, you just have to make the verb with an ing. Don't add a preposition. You don't need to add a preposition to number 2 either. 3, the laptop is something. This is because it's too old. 4, I was by the lack of incentives. I don't of that kind of pay structure. 5, he might like doing that way. He might like doing it that way. It should be it that way. I personally don't, but something. So number 2, Arena F has said, I like have a break and getting on a bit off. Ooh, and getting on a bit off. Not quite. Close, but not quite. Celine has said, have a break and switching off. Okay, what I'm going to say here is, Celine, if you've gone with switching off, then the first bit also has to be having. If it's have, then it's switch. But if it's switching, it has to be having. So what you do, both verbs have to copy each other here. It's either having and switching, or have or switch. Having and switching, or have and switch. So have a little think and let me know what you're going to go with. If you're going with, okay, it's definitely switching off, then you would say, I like having a break and switching off. But if you think it's actually have a break, then you're going to have to say, I like have a break and switch off. So think about that. Then let me know. You have a choice to make. But once you know what the structure is, this one you'll remember. It's an easy one to remember afterwards once you've looked at this sort of structure. We don't have much time till the end of the lesson, so make sure you come in with your answers. We've only got about just under 5 minutes left. So let's see. If you guys can come in with anything else. So yeah, number 3, by the way, the laptop is something. Arena F, you've actually put down you've put down an answer for this, but not for the correct question. But you have actually used what you need to be thinking about. Number 4, I was something by the lack of incentives. I don't blank of that kind of pay structure. Okay, let's see what you guys come up with. For number 4, think of a phrasal verb for the first one. Yuli says to have recharging. I like have a break and recharge off. No, we're not going to be able to recharging off. So I'm going to give you the answers for 1 and 2, okay? For now, answers for 1 and 2. Number 3, Carla. Hello, Carla. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining in. For number 3, older. The laptop is older. It's not going to have quite the same meaning as too old, though. If you look back at the start of the lesson, we used something, and Arena has actually used the answer for number 3 in her answer number 2. So the answer, by the way, I'm just going to give you the answers for number 1 and 2. Number 1, incentives. Okay. Number 2, having a break and switching off. See what I mean? If you're going to go with this sort of structure, okay, I like, don't forget, you've got this structure of I like doing, I like going, I like playing, I like seeing. And when we do that sort of structure, it means even if we add an and, the other verb also has to follow this pattern. So that's why the answer here is I like having a break and switching off. I like running and eating. I like swimming and skydiving. I like jumping and climbing. I always need to go with the ing form when I do this sort of thing. If I do the one, then I have to copy it. So if I go with the ing for the beginning, I have to go, the second bit also has to be with an ing. Number 3, putting off. The laptop is putting off. Okay, the laptop is putting off because it is too old. That would make sense. It's not the answer I'm looking for, though. I'll tell you what I was looking for, number 3, getting on a bit. Getting on a bit is the answer for number 3. The laptop is getting on a bit. If you missed the very beginning, that might make sense. It's getting too old, remember, okay? It's too old. Getting on a bit, too old for something. Okay, so, but Celine, hold on to putting off, because you still need one of the answers, 4 and 5, you are going to need to use putting off. So have a little think about that. Do you think you can use putting off in number 4 or number 5? Let me know what you think. Got 2 minutes left before the end of the lesson. I understand this has probably been a little bit of a challenging lesson in terms of using new words and new vocabulary on the subject of working life and the balanced lifestyle. But what I would say is, if it's challenging, if it's a bit difficult, then it's good. If it's too easy, it's not going to be great. So that's why we always need to try and make it a little bit difficult. Okay. So what do you guys think for number 4? I was... Okay, something. So number 4, I'm going to give you some choices. Putting off or put off. Sorry, put off. Which one do you think is going to make more sense? I don't like, prove. Okay, put off and approve, says Yuli, and I'm going to have to say yes to that. I'm going to let you guys know now. That is correct. I was put off. I don't approve of it. Good. Well done. So we come down to the last one, 5. He might like doing that. He might like doing it that way. I personally don't, but something. You've got, don't forget, guys, your options: switch off, recharge, incentive, put off, have a break, approve, each to their own, and get on a bit. The only 2 we haven't used so far is recharge and each to their own. So those are your choices for number 5. Do you think it's going to be recharge or each to their own? He might like doing it that way. I personally don't, but recharge, as the saying goes, or he might like doing that way. I personally don't, but each to their own, as the saying goes. What do you think makes the most sense in terms of an answer for number 5? And once you guys have told me that, that will bring us to the end of today's lesson. So number 5, what do we think the actual answer is? Each their own, says Yuli, and that is the correct answer. Each to their own. Well done, guys. Excellent. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. If you've enjoyed today's lesson, make sure you like the video. And if you're new, subscribe. Celine, well done. Yes, each to their own. That is the correct answer. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining in today. Celine, Yuli, Arena F, Carla, thank you so much for your participation into today's lesson. You guys make the lesson possible. And thank you very much for your participation today. Really good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, with another live lesson. Irina F says, thanks, Richard, for the interesting lesson. Have a good evening. Thank you, Irina F. Likewise, see you tomorrow and have a good evening. Yuli, you too. Thank you very much. And Celine and Carla as well. Thank you. I know I haven't uploaded a new short video. I didn't upload one last week. I haven't uploaded one today, but don't worry. By the end of the week, there will be a new short video that will be going up as well. So take care. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, with another live lesson. Enjoy, take care, and see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Thank you.